The director of Jujutsu Kaisen made a ninja anime that absolutely sucks, but he also spilled the tea on MAPPA and very carefully hit a message that could change your life. When I sat down to watch Sunghoo Park's new anime, you know, the guy responsible for this, I had really big expectations. This man directed one of the best series ever made and left MAPPA before their huge overworking controversy to open his own studio. And this was the first anime he made since Jujutsu Kaisen. I continued watching as it slowly became something not good. And I was so disappointed that I started writing an average angry anime fan review. But as I read more about Sunghoo Park, I stumbled on something crazy. He left some shocking hidden messages all over this anime completely on purpose. So I'm going to show you how such a terrible anime about ninjas might actually be one of the most interesting anime in years, but also how it shows us what a lot of animators actually think about MAPPA. Ninja Kamui is the story of Joe Logan, a normal dude living on a chill American farm with his family. One day they hear rumors about mysterious deaths nearby, which is scary even though they live really far away. A few days later, they see bright red lights in their house. Joe goes downstairs and suddenly has to fight a group of high-tech soldiers. But even though he's dressed only in his pajamas, he completely destroys every single one of them. But in a split second, he is hit and isn't fast enough to save his wife and son. He somehow survives and wakes up, but the soldiers come back to finish the job. But this time, Joe is pissed and uses a hand sign straight out of Naruto to kill all the enemies in a single blow, and finally reveals his identity. Joe was once one of the most powerful ninjas from a Japanese secret clan. He fled to the US for a peaceful life with his wife, also a former ninja. His name is Higan, and now he becomes a ninja once again to get revenge for his family. The first episode ends, and I feel like I should be having so much fun. I feel like I should be invested and so freaking hyped, but god damn, I am so not. I didn't for a single second care about any of the characters, because all of them were so uninteresting. And here's the thing, if I don't care about the character who's fighting, how the hell am I going to care about the fight? So at this point, this is all Ninja Kamui really is. A bunch of action with nothing else. And the worst thing is, it's made by Sunghoo Park, the guy who was responsible for these fights. Anime fights that are probably my favorite ones in so many years. And that's exactly when I remembered. I remember that, yeah, this is Sunghoo Park. This guy worked on some of the most interesting stories while he was at MAPPA. So I started watching the next part of the anime, almost praying that Mr. Park added some of that MAPPA magic later on. I get to the scene where Higan storms Auza, a massive technology corporation connected to his family's murder. But once he's in there, he needs to fight a group of ninjas in robot armors. He knows that he's at a disadvantage, so he uses a powerful but really dangerous technique and also his secret art. But despite using all his skills, all his techniques, absolutely everything he has, he just can't beat the armors. Just as they're about to kill him, Higan is saved by none other than one of the armors. And it was Emma, an ex-ninja just like him. She explains that if Higan wants to win, he's going to need his own armor. While escaping, they are caught by an enemy, which is the perfect opportunity for Higan to try out his new armor. And this time, he counters every attack, dodges every missile, and runs through a massive pillar of fire to kill the enemy. The enemy he could do nothing against before. While all this is happening, the series introduces CGI to the robot fights. And that suddenly made the fights go from some of the coolest stuff I've seen in a while to a bad version of Power Rangers. So let me get this straight. I continued watching, thinking that there would be something new, and the fights, the only thing that was good to begin with, became worse? I was not about to watch some kind of CGI mecha ninja anime, especially if the fights were going to look like this. I couldn't believe I actually gave a chance to Ninja Kamui. But above all, I couldn't believe Sunghoo Park did this. So I started researching him, hoping that I would find a clue, a sign, anything to understand why he did this to what I thought was the successor of his Jujutsu Kaisen. But maybe the key was Jujutsu Kaisen. After Sunghoo Park left MAPPA, a lot of us heard about the terrible working conditions of their animators. Animators who have been using the same techniques to make anime for years. Anime that used to look like this, and now looks like this. Which means that they had to work relentlessly on some of the best looking anime ever made, even though it was terrible for them. For Ninja Kamui, Sunghoo Park didn't only work with his own studio like MAPPA, he worked with a CGI studio as well. Even though he's clearly a master of making anime, he knew that he needed help from someone who understands this technology. When Higan fights other people that know the same old traditional ninja skills that he does really well, because he's a master. The problem is, he's not a ninja 50 years ago, he's a ninja now, which means he has to fight much stronger enemies with the same ninja stuff that's existed forever. But once he combines his skills with modern technology, it makes him more powerful than the ninjas or even the armors. From everything I could see, it looked like Sunghoo Park and Higan had a very similar story. But did this mean that everything I had seen up until now, the action, the story, the CGI, it was all on purpose? I continued watching, but then I got to this scene. Higan fights Zai, a super important character and also a ninja that used to be his best friend. At this point, their rivalry has been hyped throughout the series, so in this fight, everything is finally coming to an end. But this time, I finally understood what Sunghoo Park was trying to say. And this was the moment he was going to show us everything he worked for. This was the moment he was going to show MAPPA what he's capable of. The battle starts, and already everything that needs to be here is here. Higan and Zai both wear their armors, and both of their armors have opposite colors. But at the same time, both of them are some of the best ninjas ever, true masters of the traditional ninja art. For a second, it almost feels like Sunghoo Park was stepping into Higan's shoes. Their swords clash as I observe from the edge of my seat, carefully analyzing every badass move they make, quickly examining every technique they use, every deadly swing they take, until I finally realize this sucks. This fight was meant to be one of the most important parts of the series, but most importantly, it was Sunghoo Park's moment. And everything about the battle was really mediocre. CGI, choreography, everything. But then, this happened. Higan and Zai hit each other so hard that the impact destroys both of their armors as they continue to fight in a hand-to-hand duel. They hit each other until eventually Zai's mask falls off and we see a scar covering half his face. We get a flashback that shows us how he got this scar, how he had to face the consequences of not knowing where Higan went once he escaped the clan. But as they hit each other, something beautiful happens. The armors are gone, the masks are gone. They don't have anything left except for their fists and their words. Zai is so full of rage because of how abandoned he felt when Higan left. But then, Sunghoo Park showed me what I had been desperately looking for since the start of this series. Higan suddenly says, no code or cause is worth following if it robs us of our ability
to love and protect the things we held dear.
And after I heard this, I couldn't move. Because what I actually heard was Sunghoo Park saying that no anime studio is worth working for if it robs us of our ability to love and protect the things we hold dear. In this moment, he admitted that Ninja Kamui isn't like Jujutsu Kaisen, but it was never meant to be Jujutsu Kaisen. It was never meant to be a story about ninjas or robots or even ninja robots. It was never meant to be a story about action. Ninja Kamui is the story of a man whose past had terrible consequences, not just for him, but also all the people close to him. It's the story of someone who actually fights for what he believes in. Ninja Kamui might be the story of Higan, but it's also the story of Sunghoo Park, a man who can't escape his past with MAPPA, but a man who can try to fight it by creating his own anime studio with a better work environment. A studio he called ENH, which stands for Entertain and Human. Sunghoo Park didn't try making another version of an anime he made with MAPPA. He tried making a different one. Don't get me wrong, this anime isn't good in the usual sense. It takes a massive nosedive in terms of quality, the fights start really well, but end up being terrible, the emotional parts are really predictable and underwhelming, and the story is okay at best. And that's exactly why I really, from the bottom of my heart, wish I could say, hey, this is actually really good. Because when it comes to a series taking a risk to say something that's important, important for every single person who loves anime, by the way, this series is one of the best things I've seen in my life. Ninja Kamui really resonates with that part of me that feels afraid of taking action when I think something just isn't right. It shows us that sometimes in life, we have the choice, and maybe we might have more power than we think. It shows that with time, effort, and help, you can accept your past, no matter how painful it might be, and you can fight to get better or to make things better. Ninja Kamui is special because it did something that not many anime even want to try. It took a huge risk, but in the end, it completely failed. There must be another anime that takes a huge risk and actually nails it. An anime that would not only be awesome, but also teach us how to cook,